Well, the immigration issue has been with us for a long, long time. It's anything but new in our country right now, but it's made its story once again front and center thanks to the executive decisions of our president, Donald Trump, has made concerning immigrants, the building of a wall, and the decisions concerning refugees. Certainly, all those three hits have come at the same time, and so that's brought a lot of concern for a lot of people. The bishops of the United States, the U.S. Catholic Conference of Bishops, has made statements about really feeling the disappointment of making these kinds of decisions unilaterally without a real conversation about what their impact would be once they're applied. And so the bishops have said the moral kind of teaching about it, which is we have to be always supportive to the dignity of all humanity, especially those who are most poor and needy, often tends to be those who are immigrants and those who are trying to immigrate from one situation to hopefully a better one in their lives. And so the issue of immigration with regard to people being legal or illegal has, as I mentioned, it's nothing new. We've been trying to ask for a reform of our immigration system since earlier, or even earlier than the Reagan years. The difficulty has been is that we live in a world that's constantly changing. For example, in terms of the world we live in, we have countries that take up so much of the natural resources of the world in terms of food and resources and materials and so forth, because of the success of the countries. Now, sometimes that success is done through political decisions or trade deals that may be very beneficial to the first world country, but the third world country winds up being impoverished. At least its peoples have been very much impoverished. So without getting into too much geopolitical conversation about it, basically what you got is, in a world where you have the distinction between those who have and have-nots that's grown so much, well, the natural response for people who live in a country that there's nothing there, or there's very little by which to develop, there's very little there by which to grow from, their natural response is to get up and go. Their natural response is, I need to immigrate. I need to go somewhere else so that I can survive, so that I can grow, so that I can live. And that's pretty much what we're experiencing here in the U.S. So, and not only in the U.S. but Europe too. So they're going to the places where the resources are there, but more so, the resources concerning justice, concerning food, concerning opportunity, concerning work, concerning dignity of life, etc. That's why they're coming. So if we're going to shine that brightly as a country, well, guess what? The people are going to be attracted to you, and they're going to want to come. Now, the church clearly teaches that countries have a sovereignty, and they have a right to protect that sovereignty. So the United States has a right to have borders and protect its borders. So let's be real clear. The church does teach that the country does have a right to protect its borders. So that's undeniable. How that protection happens, what that looks like, is always where the gray area comes. And so what we're seeing right now is that we're reminding our country that when we talk about immigration, we're talking about people. We're talking about the situation we're putting people in and how they get treated. So whatever our process is going to be, people have a right to know what the process is, and the process should be timely enough to be able to give someone a decision about whether or not you're going to immigrate or not immigrate. If someone has come here legally or illegally, is there a process? Is there a legal process that goes that? We have to reevaluate things, once again. So say, for instance, a child was brought here into the United States. The man's 25 years old now, and he still doesn't have legal status. Does that mean because he was raised in the United States, he's no longer an American? That's what I mean by we have to reevaluate the criteria by which we have. So there's a lot of issues like that, and they're part of the discussion. They're part of the debate that we're having. The church clearly states that the countries have a right to their sovereignty and they have to protect it. But how we treat people is always a moral issue. And that is the role of the church. That is where the church enters the conversation. We want to be a great country, but we will not be a great country if we do not have a good reflection of what really makes us great.